Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Yay! We are here and it is Moon Day, July 24th. What? We already made it. Another week. Hello, Anne. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace, our favorite motivational segment to start the week. I am so grateful to be here, grateful to be having this conversation. So grateful about so many things, and there's a lot to discuss. But first, please take a moment to share the room. We are live on the Fireside Chat app. I am so baffled and bashful and grateful about the fact that I have over 20,000 followers on this app. What? Where are you all at? Hello. I want to meet all of you. That is such a gift. And I just want to say thank you to Fireside. We're also almost at the 1-year anniversary of launching this project into the general public because I kept this little journaling, painting thing to myself for over a decade and then to my close clients for over a year. And then Fireside came into the picture, and here we are, almost a year of Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace on the Fireside Chat app, live on YouTube as well, and also available on Spotify. So if you're listening from either of those, I'm so grateful for you. I would still love you to join the conversation. So, go to the app and the App Store or your Google Store or whatever, and search Fireside Chat app. And then join us here. It's that simple. Or follow the link, because I'm pretty sure if you follow the link in the bio, it will take you to where you need to be. And everything also that I do and that I offer is also in the link in my bio. So let's get to it. On Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace, we like to discuss where the moon is every day. There's a lot of astrology out there, and if you're attracted to this kind of conversation, you probably have an astrologer that you like to follow. I like to really focus on the most important astrology details, like, for example, right now, Venus is in retrograde since Saturday, and it's going to stay in retrograde until, I think, September 3rd. So that is a conversation we should be having, right? But the rest, a lot, I can't say it definitively. So I'll just say it in my experience. When there's bad aspect or malefic aspects happening in the sky, there tends to be some beneficial aspects or benevolent aspects that kind of balance it all out, right? I feel like the universe, God, spirit is really working for us and with us and never against us. And so with that faith comes an understanding that, how bad can it get? Because we got this, right? And so this week, we will talk about Venus in retrograde and what that entails and what that could come up. But the main focus of Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace is to discuss where the moon is every day and how that may, emphasis on the word may or might, because it may not happen. It never happens the same for everyone. It may affect our emotions, which is what the moon is about. The sun is the intellect and the moon is the emotional nature of our life, humanity, spirituality, right? And so this is what we do. We're also following the Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2023 Manifestation Agenda / Journal. Available if you become a subscriber. You will receive all the PDFs, because even though we got it on Amazon, right now, if you buy it, you're going to have all of these blank pages, which you can make use of and keep, but it is a dated agenda. And we're already past halfway through. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome. Good evening. Come and say hello. I would love to hear from you. I haven't heard your beautiful voice in so long. So let's begin. I mean, let's talk about this Venus retrograde. What does Venus represent, stand for? What does Venus govern? What could be expected from a retrograde? And the thing is that we've already discussed before how even though there's a lot of negativity that, retrogrades get a bad rap. And the reason why they get a bad rap is because we act out sometimes while planets are in retrograde. Our technology acts out, right? Our vehicles act out when, for example, Mars is in retrograde. And so Mercury retrograde, it's like the planet of communication. All communication gets askewed while Mercury is in retrograde, right? You get double booked, or you get late to an appointment because you misread the time, or, you send the email to the wrong person. You see all of those like little mistakes in communication. That's Mercury retrograde, right? And so Venus retrograde can be very intense, especially, I feel like, for those who are not in tune, who are not self-aware enough to stop a thought in its tracks, assess, adjust, with perspective, and then move forward, right? Let's see what Elizabeth has to say. Oh, yay, you're glad that you made it here. Would you like to say hello? Because once you send a message, now you have the mic, so you're welcome to accept or not. But that's what's happening in this. And Venus, I'm kind of sad for Leos in a sense, because it's going to be a long 40 days and 40 nights of Venus being in retrograde right as Leo season starts. So happy birthday, Leos. It is your season, the season of flamboyant pride, the season of a sense of importance, as we all should feel as divine sovereign beings, right? Leo also kind of gets a bad rap when people attribute things like, the center of attention, or oh, what is that noise? Do you hear that? Okay, I'm back and I apologize, but apparently there was an app open on my phone that started making noise and I could hear it. I don't know if you could hear it. I'm going to edit that out. So blah, blah, blah. Let's just go back. Um, so Venus. Yes. Venus, the planet of beauty, the planet of pleasure, the planet of love, the planet of um, lavishness, of pleasure, music, poetry, dance, the arts, color, right? Expression, curation, aesthetics, outfits, a sense of how we look, right? So Venus also governs or stands for what we value. And we've talked about values so many times on this podcast because as part of my coaching practice, I totally love and not live by, but I guess I advocate for, or I'm a stand for. There you go. I'm a stand for the VIA, the Institute of Character, VIA character assessment. And the reason why I love that assessment so much is because it provides us with a blueprint of what you value kind of in this season of your life. Because as you grow and evolve and move and are challenged and trauma occurs and healing occurs and so on and so forth, your values shift, they move. I was about to say ebb and flow, but that's not it. It's about, what do I need right now? Maybe right now I value survival so much that I'm going to swallow these other values because right now I really just want to survive, right?
And so Venus retrograde stirs up a lot of the things that we lovingly have been swallowing and burying deep in our soul in order to accommodate others. And that's not necessarily bad. But of course, we've also talked about how accommodating someone because you love them is could be one end of the spectrum, and then the other end of the spectrum is total people pleasing and no authenticity, right? And so for the next 40 days and 40 nights, Venus is going to be stirring up all of that shadow. And the fact that it's happening during Leo season, which also the last time that this kind of happened was around 2015. So you might want to go back on like Facebook or wherever you have your memories and what were you doing around this time, right? Or just the whole year of 2015 and revisit that because it might stir up some of that now, interestingly enough, right? And so Leo is prideful. Leo wants to speak up. Leo wants you to use your voice about the discomfort that is being stirred up. So, Venus retrograde brings up a lot of drama, especially in relationships. And that's just common sense because when you're in a relationship, you feel like you have a safe person or a safe space where you can come and literally dump your life on them, right? Like, this is part of what being in a relationship is like. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, right? Like, I don't necessarily like to air my dirty laundry out there. That's what my spouse is for, right? Or my therapist, right? And so whatever is going to be stirred up in the next few weeks leading up to September 3rd should be examined. Definitely could be examined if you make that a priority. And I definitely do recommend that it is examined because it is for your growth, right? And I honestly stopped thinking that I kept falling on the same rock because that was, for a little season in my life, I was like, why do I keep making the same mistake? Until I called myself on making the same mistake. And then I brought my awareness to it. And then I realized, and then I never made the same mistake again. And so what is going to be stirred up for the next few weeks is for your good. Take a look at it, rummage through it and do it with gentle accountability, do it with love, do it with self-compassion and compassion for your relationships as well. Whoever you trust that you go to, whether that's, a platonic relationship or a sexual one. Is that the opposite of platonic? Like, now I don't even know, but an intimate, there you go, an intimate relationship. Thank you, Spirit, coming through with like a vocabulary. Okay, so that's Venus in retrograde. That's all I will say for now because we're going to talk about it again next week. Let's not forget, we're going to revisit now the fact that the nodes shifted from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra last week. Last Monday, we talked about this. This happened last week on the 17th, last Monday. And the thing about that shift is that it's also going to kind of conflict with the Venus retrograde in this context. So hear me out. Libra, the South Node being in Libra essentially adds to whatever Libra stands for. It adds the little, kink of Libra now becoming where we are coming from, what we need to leave behind, what is in the past. Libra, South Node, right? This is where we are coming from. And so you have to think, first of all, where Libra is in your chart. And also think of it in the terms of, well, Libra is the peacekeeper. Libra is all about fairness and balance. And Libra is all about the collective. And Libra is all about keeping the peace and not rocking the boat. And Libra is all about not really making decisions because it's just so hard, right? And Aries, which is now the North Node, which is the invitation. Aries now becomes that North Star, what we could be tapping into to better ourselves and to grow. So you want to look at where Aries is in your chart, which is exactly opposite of Libra, right? So you're going to see it. And what house it is in and what context Libra is in your chart. And then attached to it, the notion of that is your challenge this year. That's what you're being called to look into in order to grow and manifest and align, right? And so you look at it, I look at it as Libra being the peacekeeper and Aries calling me to be more assertive about what I value, be more outspoken, that's the lion, about what I value and what I want. Be more assertive in your creative expression, right? Because Venus is arts and beauty and music and creativity, right? And so all of that to say that I feel like the antidote for all of the discomfort for the next few weeks, whatever discomfort that may be, because let me tell you, it's going to show up as like drama. And because it's Leo season, the fire sign, right? Um, Whatever drama comes up is going to hurt. It's going to burn for a little while and then it's going to die down, right? And so I feel like for the next few weeks, the antidote is going to be to really define what self love and self compassion and self everything looks like and feels like for you. And when I say looks like, is what do you need your environment to look like for you to be chill and to, you know, calm down your nervous system from whatever is going to be triggered, right? So what does self-love look like? What does self-love sound like? Imagine the music that you want to listen to in the moment that you experience that complete and utter relaxation, right? What does it feel like? What are you wearing? Do you like something soft? Are you like covered in oil because it turns out you want to just get a massage? Like defining all of these things so that then, and this is what I love about astrology and about the moon, is then when you feel the discomfort, you can at least separate yourself and at least have this clue. And I say at least have a clue because I will never say that whatever we discuss is definite, and it's definitely not like 100% on everyone, right? Like Aries and Libra nodes changing is going to affect the cardinal signs more than the other signs, right? And so astrology never applies to 100% of the people 100% of the time. And that's why your personal chart is so important, because every single day you can look at, for example, today and tomorrow, the moon is going to be in Libra, highlighting this little node shift. And the good thing about being aware of what's happening is that when things come up, I can look at my agenda and say, okay, so at least I know that the moon is in Libra today. So that makes sense. Maybe this is why this is coming up. Okay, so it's not me. And it's not about blaming the other person or blaming anyone. It's about understanding that this is, I am safe. This thing that's being stirred up may not necessarily be my life right now. So let me bring myself to the present moment. This is why mindfulness is so important, because then when the drama gets stirred up, you don't lose your mind. You are centered, or at least it's faster for you to center yourself. This is what I coach people through. So, yeah, this is it. So the moon will be in Scorpio starting Tuesday very late at night, Wednesday and Thursday. Scorpio is the deepest of the deepest, resonating with this in-depth journey of Venus retrograde for the next 4 weeks. And so I am expecting either moodiness or emotionality, like things being stirred up inside and you just sobbing. If you are a man, then maybe you don't sob and you just feel incredibly uncomfortable, which is sad, but hey, all tears are welcome here. This is a safe space. And then, Sagittarius is more direct, right? We've talked about how Sagittarius is that familiar arrow pointed straight to that goal. And leading into Capricorn, it's it's a beautiful opportunity to figure out what is it that Libra is asking us to leave behind. So you have until tomorrow to figure that out, at least for this week. And I have a deadline, and that's why I'm bringing this up. And then Scorpio is going to really go deep and say, but are you sure? Are is this really what you want? Are you really ready to take the next step? Do you really deserve this? Who are you to do this? Like, that's Scorpio asking you all of those like dark questions that make you hesitate and doubt, and that make you nervous about the steps that you're taking. But it's not necessarily negative. It's like for your own good. Like, you should be answering these questions instead of getting defensive, right? And then Sagittarius is going to hopefully make sense of all of it, so that then the moon in Capricorn on Sunday allows you to really decide, what traditions do I want to continue moving forward with? What does really not serve me anymore? Venus in retrograde is going to ask you what doesn't serve you every single day of the next few weeks. So if it's not a yes, it's a no. So there you go. And then we're going to have the full moon happening next Tuesday. So we're going to discuss it next Moon Day when we see each other here on Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace. And with that, with the full moon on the 1st of August, we are also going to have, there's an eclipse on the 30th. So we're going to talk about that. Or maybe it's the 2nd. Oh, yeah. It's the blue moon, the 2nd. We have a blue moon in August. There you go. Here I am, like, looking at this little color here, and it's right here on the agenda. The blue moon in Pisces on August 30th. So August is also going to bring up a lot of inner voice, higher self, a lot of introspection, a lot of dreams, a lot of connection, if that's what you want, obviously, right? You have to be open in order to receive. So that's it. That is the week for you all. That's the week with the Venus in retrograde. And thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. As always, you're welcome to request the mic and ask any questions. And honestly, um, I don't ever advertise readings. The readings I do are usually for like clients on a scheduled appointment, and then we go into a reading. But if anybody is into that, you're welcome to request the mic. Readings really happen kind of anytime and pretty much on demand. And it's so funny when we get together, either here or on Twitter. I host a conversation on Twitter for 2 hours every Friday on the Empaths Unite community space. And it's so interesting when I go on a tangent and I go on a spiel, and it's like, wait, was this like a channeling thing? Because I have no idea what I just said, or who was that for, or what I am talking about. And so there it just lands where it needs to land. And that's really interesting. But um, I forgot to say, and we're going to go into the affirmations as well. But another thing that I wanted you to really consider, especially if you never have, but you are struggling emotionally during this season, is to journal. I was having a conversation about journaling last week. I have been posting about journaling consistently pretty much all year, right? Because we've been following this. And I've been journaling since I was 14. And honestly, when a client comes to me and they're not into journaling, I'm starting to feel like that might be a deal breaker, because clearly this is a modality that I live by and totally advocate for and believe in, right? And so the thing about journaling is, before you dump all of the feelings that Venus in retrograde in Leo is going to stir up, before you dump those things on someone else who may take it the wrong way, who may be triggered as well because they're also going through the Venus retrograde wherever it falls on their chart. Okay, so everybody is going through the same retrograde, even if it affects them differently. And so before dumping your drama on someone else, try journaling and just write down how you feel. I somehow feel some, like, I get a sense sometimes that people don't journal because it's like an imposter syndrome thing, like I'm not a writer, or that's weird to talk about myself in the third person, or am I just pretending like I'm narrating a story but I'm not a writer. And it's like all of these excuses about why I'm not, like, I don't know, good enough to narrate my own life, but just write it how it comes, right? So in first person, and however you feel it, before you know it, you're not even thinking and your hand is going through it, right? And don't be afraid to have a ton of journals. Another one. That sound comes to mind. But I keep I keep that Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace journal that invites you to journal every moon day. So I did my journaling. There it is. This is the journal where I write every day about everything else. This is the journal for the Arthurian Tarot journey, my little homework of a year-long commitment with Kathleen here on Fireside. So you can join us every Friday. So this is how much I've journaled on that since we started in January. And then this is the current journal that I literally started like 3 days ago, where I make all of my astrology notes and all of the moon notes. So at any given time, I'll be writing on these 3 journals, and it's like, just do it. Just do it and get in the habit of it. And before you know it, you can make sense of your feelings a little bit quicker. You can make sense of your feelings a little bit deeper, and hopefully give you a little bit more insight as to why you act the way you act, why you feel the way you feel. It highlights patterns of behaviors that you probably should be leaving behind. And the reason why I bring that up is because the full moon is all about release. So we're going to talk about it next Monday. What is the first things that Venus retrograde will highlight this week as the moon grows in light because it's waxing? What are the things that Venus has highlighted for you this week that you're going to get rid of next week? We're going to talk about it next week. We're going to have a bonfire and we're going to throw it all and watch it burn, and it's going to be amazing. Because the thing about watching it go and the thing about burning it is, feeling how it just, the weight is lifted. The energetic weight of your shadow is no longer there. The energetic weight of your triggers no longer has power over your experience. And that is the goal, because don't you want to live your best life? And the best life doesn't really mean that you're on a yacht with like a glass of champagne and music blasting. Like, maybe your best life is in a cottage in the middle of nowhere, completely undisturbed and in total peace about where you've been and what you're doing and where you're going. Doesn't that sound like the best life? Oh, so I know, right? Elizabeth is a Taurus, so she knows exactly what I am talking about, right? Give me all the comfort and all the lavish abundance and a weighted blanket so I can be nice and comfortable, right? Yes, yes. So, the waxing crescent in Libra today wants you to know that you are amazing. Do not doubt it. And the affirmations for the week are: I make sure to balance home and professional life. That is such a Libra affirmation to make. There you go. My dreams come true one by one. Can you really say that? This hair is, sorry. My hair is making me, like, it's tickling my face. Um, have you heard this sound on TikTok or Instagram? I don't remember. But it says, but did you realize that you're actually living at least one of the dreams you dreamed back in the day? And it really forced me to pause and look at my life and highlight, what dreams have I prayed for and made come true. And this show is one of them. So I was so pleasantly surprised with the amount of things that I was able to kind of put into a list. And so I invite you to do the same. My dreams come true one by one. Take a step back and ponder your life and where you've been and try to remember some of the dreams that you had when you were little. And the thing is that now with Venus in retrograde, Mercury is also going to be doing its thing with Virgo, which is going to force you to kind of make sense of whatever you are feeling. It's just beautiful how it works like that. But Venus in retrograde stirring up a lot of the shadow and a lot of the depth and a lot of the past might come in the form of frustrations of like childish frustrations, things that you were denied, things that you lost, things that you thought were precious, things that you valued as a child and young adult that somehow were taken from you or went away or just were no more, and how that affected you. I feel like that may come up this week. A lot of astrologers are out there are talking about how your ex may be calling you, but it's like, okay, like boundaries. Like you don't even need to respond. If your ex is absolutely not in your life and they suddenly reach out during Venus retrograde, then you know it's Venus retrograde and you don't need to comply. You can stand your ground and have a boundary and say, not today. You don't owe your ex anything, right? So, a lot of astrologers are talking about how your ex may reach out while Venus is in retrograde, but I honestly don't think so. I don't expect it and I don't want it. I don't care. So watch out for that. Something I did also hear from Laniado this week on the Ghost of a podcast is Venus in retrograde. Don't make any big purchases. So let me tell you, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if you buy a car during Venus retrograde between now and September 3rd, and then something happens, then please know it's not you, and maybe that's what it was, Venus in retrograde. If you buy a house, maybe, okay? Um, Contracts or even getting into a committed relationship. What? Listen, follow your heart. Whatever happens, we will recover, right? I feel like with the sense of not telling you what to do, if you decide to do something big during Venus retrograde and then something big in a negative way comes out of it, then we will recover, right? You're not alone. So in the end, we hold on to hope. We are totally optimists here in the Moon Magic and Mindfulness Grace, with Grace lore world. And so it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be beautiful. And that's it. That is it now for real. That is the moon and the affirmations. Thank you so much. So right now we're going to do something new because my child or spirit totally took my iPad. I have no idea where it is. And usually we use the iPad for the music, but I have some vinyl over here with Caribbean beach sounds. So we're going to play this for the meditation. Thank you so much. Let's do this. Now, please clap if you can hear it, because the record player is next to me and I had no time to plug all of this in because I was looking for the iPad. It's not playing yet. Hang on. Oh, yeah, you can barely hear that. Whoa. Can you hear that? Can you tell me if you can hear it? It probably doesn't sound very loud, but this is the music we have today. You hear the waves? All right, you're too kind, but let's do this. That's very loud. Can you hear me? All right. So, Adam, tune back to the beginning because you missed the gist of it, but welcome. So grateful that you're here. Get comfortable and sit back. We are about to go into the beach and just have a quick little reset and a quick little meditation. Next week, we will be here for the full moon that is happening on Tuesday. So sit back and relax. Center into your spot or lay down. Center yourself and breathe nice and slow. And follow my lead. Breathe in through your nose, a deep, long, deep breath. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out through your mouth. Long breath out till you have no air. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again through your nose. All the way, hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out through your mouth. Long breath out all the way. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax and settle into that breath. Nice and slow. Breathe as you feel led. And as you center into this stillness, imagine that you are sitting at the shore of a still, gentle lake. And it's a starry night, and the crescent moon is just perfect above the water. Just enough light shed on the scene. And the water comes and goes, and with it, a recollection of memories, decisions, highlights, and lowlights. And with every wave that comes in and out, a new question about where you stand. And a new question about what do you want? And a question about how do you feel? And as everything comes in, focus on your breath. Focus on this moment. And take a deep breath through your nose. Deep, long breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Long breath out all the way till you have no air. Hold it at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again one more time. All the way through your nose, all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Nice and slow. We're not in a hurry. Hold it at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax. Breathe in and settle into your breath. And in this moment, I want you to remember or repeat with your hand on your heart, I am so grateful for all of the love and for all of the guidance and for all of the gentle compassion I get to show myself at this time. I make sure to balance home life and professional development. My dreams come true one by one. I am excited to define my desire and pursue it with pride. I am so loved, guided, and protected. With me, take one last breath in through your nose. Deep, long breath in all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Long breath out all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again through your nose. Long, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out nice and slow through your mouth. Long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And relax. And as you relax, bring your awareness to your body and to the present moment. And come back to me. Open your eyes. We are done. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so I have no idea how that went. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. Welcome, Cecilia. I have no idea how that sounded, but I will find out. And I apologize if that was a total turnoff because I didn't get the music set up in time because I cannot find the iPad. So, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening about this whole Venus retrograde thing and what it may be stirring up. If you are a highly sensitive person, you're going to feel everything deeper, more dramatic, and more like just more than someone who may not be a highly sensitive empath. And this is also why I'm so drawn to astrology. And it's because of that level, that little hint of prophecy or prediction. It's like, I'm not sure if what's coming on Thursday is really going to affect me, but I know what's coming, so I can prepare. And honestly, it takes like so much weight off my shoulders when I know what's coming. Because when I know what's coming, I'm not on high alert. And if I'm not high alert, my nervous system is not activated. It's like chill, and I want to be chill, right? Because that's where creativity really sets in when you're still and open to receive. So, thank you again. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Elizabeth, Adam, and Cecilia. And thank you, Anne. I said Jen. Thank you, Anne. And anybody watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much, Fireside Chat app, for 20,000 followers. I don't know where they are, but I would love to connect with them. Thank you. But that's pretty cool. And I just noticed that today. So thank you so much for being such gracious host to allow us to create these awesome shows and conversations. So if you're listening and you want to join the chat, then download Fireside or go to the link in the description so you can follow from there. I will see you all next moon day to talk about the waxing gibbous, but then we have a full moon the very next day, so it will be a full moon. And it's almost August. Like, can you believe it? Next week, it's going to be August 1st on Tuesday. We're going to have a new moon in the full moon in Aquarius and the new moon in Leo on August 16th, and that is a super moon, so we're going to talk about it. Wait, one of them is a super moon, but that new moon is pretty dramatic. Let's not forget, it's this, like, retrograde is happening in Leo and it's Leo season, right? So And then the blue moon, we have a blue moon on August 30th. I'm so excited to have two full moon in a single month. I remember when I was in ninth grade and I did like an English paper about a blue moon. What is a blue moon? So, yeah, man, I've been doing this a long time. Thank you so much. I love you all, and I will see you next week.